What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Team Chat Podcast, a video game show. I'm one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, joined to my right by Rachel Mogan.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno to you as well. How are you this fine day?
Discombobulated. It's a Sunday,
We're
but
doing
usually
it again.
when we record on Sundays, it's the morning. It's mid-afternoon.
Mid-afternoon
over here,
this
bro.
time, but still, we're doing it again on a Sunday, throwing it back to how we used to in the
Well,
old days.
now that your work schedule is a little bit more intense.
Yeah.
Things are a little different
It's a little bit
now.
harder to get to do it after work like we used to.
Now you're looking at Sunday again, and Sunday's like, oh, I see you're back, are you?
Yeah, Sunday's looking real nice
Sunday's
on
looking
the old
real
calendar.
good all of a sudden.
Oh, man, but you can listen to us talk about video games, the ones we love, the ones we hate, and everything in between every week here on Team Chat Podcast, and you can do that on podcast services around the World Wide Web, such as Google Podcasts, Spotify. No, Google Podcasts isn't a thing anymore. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and most other places that podcasts can be found across the World Wide Web. You can also watch a video version of each episode over on our YouTube channel. Links for all that are in the description below, where you'll find links to our social media channels, our merch store over on TeePublic, where you can buy like t-shirts, mugs, cool stuff like that with the Team Chat logo on it. You'll also find a link to our Patreon page, where you can go to patreon.com/teamchatpodcast, where as little as $1 a month, you can support the show, and in return, we'll give you cool perks like getting the episodes early before their general weekly release, access to the private channel on our Discord server, the Rogues Gallery, as well as the Patreon exclusive show, Team Chit Chat, where Mogan and I talk about things not related to video games, just kind of shoot the shit, talk about our week, things that happened, the things, that we just kind of want to talk about. You can find that over on patreon.com, where these cool people such as Allison H, Fuchsia, Ark, Brandon W, Bro Mogan, Ace Jokai, Erica L, Michael B, Michael S, Snooty Boots, Susan M, and Zach S have done. You can join their ranks over on Patreon, and in return, you get our love and appreciation and gratitude. But if you can't do that, that's no big deal at all. We completely understand, and there are free ways that you can support the show, such as telling your friends, writing us reviews, subscribing wherever you're listening to, or watching the show. All of that helps get the good word of Team Chat Podcast out to the masses, and for that, we are grateful and love each and every single one of our viewers, listeners, and patrons alike. Heart emojis.
Heart emoji, XOXO.
Smooches, XOXO. Before we get into the main topic of the day, let's get a little bit of news and what's coming out soon in our moment with Mogan.
It is somehow already February. January was both the longest month
I was about
ever.
to say somehow already February. I was like, January drug forever.
It took for fucking ever.
Forever.
Anyways, it's finally February now, as of when we're recording this. And all of this stuff came out this week. I'm just going to blast us through. Star Sand Island is out now for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 2, and PC. I believe this is one of their cozy life sim games.
Yes.
I can't remember if someone in our Discord has been playing like this on early access or something.
I don't remember.
I might be getting it confused with a different game, but I'll check it out. I mean, not like immediately, but I'll look into it.
Point.
Who doesn't need a cozy life sim every now and then? Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. This is that big remake of Dragon Quest VII.
Mm-hmm.
That is out now for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 2, Switch, and PC. We also have...
Real quick on that one. That's one's not like doing the Final Fantasy VII where it's a complete like remake and a new art style. It's like kind of an upgraded version, correct? Or is it kind of just like another like ground up remake?
I think it's more like a ground up remake.
Oh, all right, cool.
Because it looks like they did a lot with it. I don't know how different the gameplay or what the story is going to be, the quality of life features, but visually I think it looks pretty like just a huge, big leaps and bounds forward.
I feel like that's a Kurok game, so maybe he can give us an
Maybe
update.
so. Yeah, he's always playing those weird JRPGs. I say weird like Dragon Quest
Like
isn't
Dragon
one
Quest
of the
isn't one of
most
the-
well-known
yeah,
and
the
beloved
staples.
series ever. We also have PUBG Blind Spot, early access for PC. Nobody cares. PUBG's still around. People still play this game.
Right? That is kind of surprising.
PUBG came back for me. Sid Meier's Civilization 7 is out now for Mac and iOS. Yes, finally. Tomb of the Bloodletter.
Wait. Oh, it's on Mac.
Yeah, Mac and
okay.
iOS.
Okay, I was about to say, because I was like, I'm pretty sure I play it on my Mac already. Yeah, I do. So that's interesting. Oh, for phones and stuff now, and like the iPad and stuff.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
got it.
Tomb of the Bloodletter is out now for PC. We've also got My Hero Academia, All's Justice. That's for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC. We've got Neo 3. This one I think a lot of people are actually looking forward to. This one's coming out on February 6th for PS5 and PC. We also have a game absolutely no one cares about. PGA Tour 2K25. Wait,
if Happy Gilmore is not a playable character.
It's 2K25 because of the Switch 2 release. So not only is this not a new sports
it's like
ball
a
game,
year old.
it's also a year old. Exactly.
Old news. No one cares.
Super old news. And then just getting us a little bit into next week, we've got Crisol, Theater of Idols for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on the 10th. Also on the 10th, we have Mewgenics, like Mew as in cat Mewgenics, for PC. I hope it sounds like it might be adorable. I hope it is. And then we have Relooted for Xbox Series X and S and PC on the 10th as well. And that's probably enough to get us into next week.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, for the main topic of the day, actually, you know what? Before we talk about that, yes, we had a little bit of a side news story because no doubt if you have been following the latest video game releases, this is what it was. I had something else first, and then we'll jump to this. Have you seen anything about the game Cairn that we talked about last week and how it's like blowing up? I'm getting curious to try it, but it looks like it will be a game that frustrates the hell out of me.
So I haven't watched anything about it because I do think I'll probably play Cairn, and I kind of want to go into it, more or less as blind as I can. But I did read Game Informer's review of it.
Ooh, nice.
They gave it a really high score, but I mean, what's the value of a numbered review on the internet these days?
We need a good, solid, flat butt scale review.
Exactly, but it did sound like two things. So one of the worst comments on that article was, "Oh, so just Jusant again?" It's like, no, bitch, you stupid bitch. Read the
Uncultured
article,
swine.
you uncultured swine, because it actually sounds pretty different than Jusant. I really need to do that Jusant review because I feel like now's the time because then I can go into Cairn. But Jusant was quite short, max 10 to 15 hours worth of a game. And that's even if you were replaying it like completionist style. It was also what I would consider more like Zen and almost relaxing. I mean, some of the segments of the game were a little bit more high octane, but like that was still a pretty low energy level of high octane.
Sure.
So pretty relaxed, pretty much like narrative, silent story driven. Whereas Cairn sounds a lot more survivalist. It sounds a little bit more hardcore in terms of the mechanics. It sounds a little bit more brutal as far as like the toll that the climb takes on you. I've heard that one of the mechanics is that you have to bandage your bloodied hands when you get to like left behind bivouac stations as you're making your way up the mountain.
So it's really like a survival game to the extreme.
Yeah, you have to like eat and stuff, I think, which you didn't have to do in Jusant. Your guy never had to eat. So I think it's actually going to be a little bit of a different game. And it sounded like it's longer because the reviewer in Game Informer actually said dozens of hours that I spent in it. And I was like, oh, so more than 24.
Or I wonder if it's one of those things where it's like, you fail a lot and you have multiple new runs and it's not necessarily that you are like doing the same thing over like the same storyline.
I don't think that's the case.
It's not that kind of game?
I'm not. I thought that it was pretty much about one main character. And I thought that like she had a story arc that was going through this.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, but it is like the same character, but it's like you climb the mountain, make it as far as you can until you like die, fall, whatever. And then in some way you like restart the climb. And as you get farther up each time, you
Have
uncover.
you read this somewhere, or is this just conjecture?
No, this is just conjecture. This is complete
I'm like,
conjecture.
where are you getting these ideas from?
No. This is complete conjecture. If this is a good idea for a video game, someone tell me and I'll start making it somehow. No. But anyway, no, I wondered if that's just kind of like how the story unfolds or if it is like, yes, a continuous story of a la like God of War, where you start and go to the top of the mountain and that's the end of the game.
It's more of a continuous story, but I could be wrong. I haven't played the game yet, so I could be wrong. But that is out now. It came out at the very tail end of January. I have the list pulled up real quick. Let's just review real quick. Nope, I already lost it. I closed that tab out, so never mind.
It's gone forever. Never
I think
find
it's
it
available
again.
for basically everything except for maybe the Switch 2. So, Cairn, I would like to play it.
Yeah,
maybe
it does
not
look very
immediately, but it looks good.
Yep. But the other thing we were going to talk about before we jumped to the main topic was I have been playing for a little bit. I still need to spend a little bit more time on it before I give an official like first review, first official like thumbs up, thumbs down. But I have been playing Highguard, which we talked about in the previous episode about how it was about to be coming out and how we were curious of its reception because it did seem like it was going to maybe be another example of like a Concord-esque game due to its reception. Like it was just going to come out this thing that people spent years and years and years on, and it just kind of is a flop because it came out too late. No one really cared.
Also, one of those games that they did like no marketing for. Yeah, like Jeff Keighley, it felt like Jeff Keighley shadow dropped it at the Game Awards this year, and everybody was like, "What's this game now?
What is this?" Yeah, and so it got a lot of hype from that, and people were kind of curious about like, what is this going to be? But I think also, it's a hero-based shooter that kind of looks like it has elements of like looting, what's the Valorant is the style gameplay, but then also kind of like, Apex Legends 3v3 squad based gameplay, but also with some base defense mechanics in it and stuff like that. And
your people have powers and stuff. It's not like just like realistic guns.
I think they describe you as arcane marksmen or something like that. Of course, is kind of how they put it. And you have mounts. You can run around on this stuff, and bears. You can ride on bears, which is honestly kind of cool. Yeah, and so I decided to give it a shot. Decided to try it, but because obviously the big differentiator between it and Concord is that Highguard was going to be free, and Concord was going to be a $40 game, I believe, on launch. And so anyway, thought I'll jump into it, see what's up. I had before started playing, had seen some online fervor about it just not being great. Saw it launch to overwhelmingly negative reviews on Steam. Those did creep up to mixed, but still that's not a great look. And a lot of people talking about the gameplay loop being kind of slow, being a lot of like kind of quasi waiting around, it seems, until you get into...
Oh, that was Valorant the whole time. Are you kidding me?
But also like the maps being too big, different stuff like that. But I was still like, you know what? We'll give it a fair shot. Like I said, I still need a few more hours. I haven't done all the different modes, but I have played, I think about 5-ish games of the 3v3 raid mode, which is basically where it is the tower defense, base defense mode, where it starts off, you kind of fortify your base and fortify walls. Each base has 2 batteries and then the main core. You basically have to defend the 2 batteries and then the core. And if those are all 3 destroyed, or you lose enough points throughout the game by either like starting a siege and then it failing, different stuff like that, because that's how it starts. Is you have basically a resource gathering phase where you'll go out and mine like minerals that are your currency. You can go to a vendor to upgrade your weapons, which has like which rank up very Valorant style, like where you ready up and choose your weapons from the menu. You pay money for them. You have a limited income to spend on it, or budget, I should say, to spend on it. And then after that, you'll go off and try to take control of the shield breaker, because both bases are controlled by a dome shield. Whichever team gets control of the shield breaker gets to then start a raid on the enemy team's base, where a siege tower spawns and rolls up onto the base, breaks through the shield, and then you can get into their base and start trying to set bombs to destroy these various things.
This is so many steps.
It is a lot of steps.
This is a lot of steps,
It was a little confusing. Those first couple games that I played, I was kind of like, okay, I kind of understand the criticism. This is a lot.
Sounds like a lot.
And also, to the reviews' credit, they were right. 3v3, just 2 teams of 3v3 on these 3 maps that didn't really see much engagement until a base siege started, was slow. And then once the initial momentum in the first few games that I played started, and it went one direction or the other, basically, if you got the shield breaker, game over.
Oh, so like that
there was no back and forth. It was pretty much, if you lost the fight for the shield breaker, which goes into like an overtime phase if it takes too long for teams to get it and different things like that. If it can kind of reset, or when it's restolen, stuff like that. But anyway, there should have been like a back and forth and all this, but it doesn't go through that. And it was just a very much one team wins the shield breaker because they just have to wipe the 3-man squad right there, because you have to respawn back at your base and travel back to it. One of the heroes that you can be does allow for her, like, ultimate is a spawn point away from there. Just like you can place it wherever, and that's where it goes.
Symmetra teleporter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Symmetra teleporter. Yeah, exactly. So there's some things like that to work around it with the hero abilities. But yes, the hero abilities themselves were fun, but that core gameplay loop was slow.
Is this 3v3 mode like what you would consider to be the default mode?
I think that
is this
like
the quick
default
play
mode. There is another mode that I haven't messed around with. And there are a whole lot of other things to it, like, like a market. There will obviously be cosmetics, microtransactions, free to play. That's where it's going to make its money, different stuff like that. I'm going to have to go let Willie out because she's starting to freak out, but I'm going to finish this little segment first.
She is literally like, I can hear her banging
leaping up against
walls.
the glass doors trying to get out. So anyway, she needs to go either chase a squirrel or go to the bathroom. But going through all this stuff, I was like, yeah, this is slow. And this is not going to last long, I think, if this is what the gameplay loop is. But fortunately, the developers did listen pretty quick. And this game came out, I believe, Tuesday of last week. And as of yesterday, I believe, they had already put out a patch making the raid mode 5v5. I played a few rounds with that. So much better.
Does it go a lot faster?
It goes a lot faster. There's actually back and forth and contesting of the shield breaker. You get to use the various abilities of your heroes better because you have a little bit more diversity in what you're going to be seeing. It's similar to Apex, though. You can't have duplicate heroes on the team. But so with this update, it seems like they've done a few more changes, updates, some various things. Oh, because it's also like Apex 2 where you have to like go out and find chests that have like upgraded loot or stuff like that. Armor sets. If your armor sets break, you can buy some at the vendor or find them out in the field. And if all your armor sets break, then you're way squishy and easy to kill. So you want to try to find those. So there's a lot of bit of stuff like that too. All that to say, now with the 5v5, it has a lot better flow. You actually have like early game engagements and fights and little skirmishes here or there before the shield breaker actually becomes available. So now with this, I'm looking forward to playing more time with it, seeing how it continues to grow, trying out the other modes, have a full first impressions coming up with that and everything. But still, or review, depending on how much there is actually to do it. It
might only be around for another week.
Might only be around for another week. We'll see. But still, want to just still give those early thoughts on it and everything like that. So, but it looks like it's taking a good step forward because, how it played on the first day was little rough.
3v3 in this day and age is an interesting sell. I feel like that's a hard sell.
Especially 3v3 in a condensed format, but big. Like Apex, it made sense. It was a battle royale 3v3. You're going to come across a lot of different teams all at once. This is so far only 2v2, and so it was very limited. If you were able to just simply knock out one teammate, the tide turned pretty quick, and it's hard to recover from that.
I mean, kudos to them for changing it so quickly, but I do wonder, how did that not come up in playtesting?
It definitely, I have seen some stuff online about people talking about how it does seem like it was going to be Battle Royale, that they pivoted to something else when they kind of saw that as kind of slowing down a little bit. I mean, it is also from the developers of Apex and other Battle Royale adjacent games. So not
you don't just want to make the same game
exactly.
again.
You don't want to just remake the wheel. But still, it seems like they're trying to put their own little spin on it and different stuff like that. And I hope that the changes they're going to make are going to improve it because I don't want it to fail, obviously. But how it started, I was kind of like, this might have needed a little bit more time in the cooker, All right, let me go let Willie out real fast. Anyway, well, for the main topic of the day, I'm going to be talking about my time playing Ghost of Yotei, my final review of the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima that came out on October 2nd of 2025.
I would say as far as both of us typically go, that's a pretty good completion time. We're generally pretty slow.
It definitely felt like I was taking a really long time on it though, because my buddy Zach at work, he blazed through it and just kept wanting to be like, how far are you? How far are you? And I'm like, I'm still doing the first part. He's like, God, just killing him that it was taking me so long to finish it. So compared to him, I felt like I was going at a snail's pace. I did take 75 hours, I think.
So a good size
time.
Good
so I spent
game.
a good amount of time in it and everything like that. So I think you could probably do that in Ghost of Tsushima too, but I like I said, I haven't really gone back to that one to do I did try to start to play it again before playing Yotei so I could maybe do a platinum.
Oh, I remember us
do a
talking
little
about
bit
this.
of the multiplayer because I still haven't tried that yet. But I just didn't get into it, and it felt weird just starting New Game Plus. I was like, I'm just going to need to play it again and try it again at some point. So didn't get that, but it is not a direct sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Yotei takes place a couple hundred years later. Like, in fact, you actually get to use early rifles and pistols and stuff, muskets, I should say.
Pretty cool.
And stuff like that in the later parts of the game and stuff like that, which is, really, really cool. I have talked at length, I feel like, or did a pretty good amount of time talking about the various mechanics and different stuff like that of the game in my first impressions episode. And I'll talk about a little bit of some things that did come up later that I liked or didn't like and stuff like that in terms of the mechanics. But for the most part, I think I will probably be talking about the story today. So when I get to that section, I will give a spoilers warning and different stuff like that. But for the first, before I get into that, I will talk a little bit about some of the mechanics. So the main part of this game, or the main point, in case you don't know the overall story of it, is that you play as Atsu, played by Erika Ishii, who does a phenomenal job as Atsu. Like, she does a really great job of really just like harnessing the like raw like emotion and just like ferocity at times of like, but like stone cold ferocity that Atsu gives. Especially early game, Atsu is not much more than just like I am a stone cold killer here for revenge. Because the beginning of the game starts with Atsu's family being brutally killed by a gang called the Yotei 6. Okay, sorry. I had to think about it because they are led by Lord Saito, who you learn that your father had some kind of connection with a few years ago, but he abandoned that life. It seems like they were kind of like a gang of outlaws that were somewhat becoming more powerful in this area of northern Japan. I think you're actually on the northernmost island of Japan.
Oh, it takes
in
place
this
in
game.
Hokkaido.
Yeah.
No kidding.
And
I didn't
so
know that.
that's where you're up there because they often talk about the mainland and like the struggles in the war of the mainland, but they're
Cool.
referring to the main island of Japan, not like the Asian continent itself. And so you get the idea that they're kind of like growing in power, becoming more of a thing, but they definitely started in just being like a band of outlaws. And your father takes his family away from that life and sets up a new home where he, makes a living for himself as a swordsmith and blacksmith and everything like that for the community. And eventually, though, his past comes back to him. Lord Saito and the Yotei 6 come up to their homestead one evening and wind up, like I said, murdering Atsu's mother, father, and her brother Jubei. They even leave Atsu for dead because Saito like stabs her like through the shoulder, like right here and stuff.
The classic just barely missed the heart stab.
Into what's the gold-leafed tree?
Ginkgo tree.
Ginkgo tree. Like into their family like Ginkgo tree that's in the middle of their homestead, and then sets it on fire like full. And then they all like, all right, job done, and they leave. Well, Atsu does not die, is able to like,
oh boy,
get herself out of the being stabbed to the tree and is able to crawl away and get to safety. Willie's still going crazy, but we're going to power through. And so anyway, she then basically is able to escape, recover from her wounds, and then basically says, I'm going to spend the next however long of it takes of my life seeking absolute revenge on the Yotei 6 and murdering them all. That is my life's mission.
I gotta say that Lord Saito is a top tier villain name,
isn't
by
it?
the way.
It's really great.
Good villain
and
name.
He's a really cool villain too. Just like he's like very, does not give a shit about what it takes to like maintain his power.
Is he hot?
He's not unattractive.
I should have been asking the important questions. I'll be the judge of that.
For sure. He's not an unattractive man, but I didn't see him and go, oh, hello. If that
well,
says
nobody
anything.
thought Hikaru was hot too, and he was the biggest bae in all of
Forbidden West.
Forbidden
West.
West.
I was on board the Hikaru train.
Nobody else was. It was just us.
Wait,
bro.
is Hikaru the chief?
Yes.
Yeah, he was awesome.
God, he was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, this man. He's got granddaddy vibes.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
might
because
even be a little too old for me.
The beginning of the game and then the main events of the game are 16 years apart. So there is a time jump. So he's a little
gotcha.
younger at the beginning of the game and stuff
Young
like that.
Lord
So
Saito.
basically, Atsu decides, I'm going to make it my life's mission to hunt down the Yotei 6. And it's kind of implied, too, that at the beginning of the game that she is imbued with like the spirit of an Onryo. There's basically like a spirit of vengeance that just like will at points enable her to overcome death or like various things. So that's kind of like how she lives from being stabbed. It's basically just like that power of like that need for revenge kept her alive kind of thing. And so she becomes a terror. Like her throughout the game, like her legend spreads, and you can actually terrify the enemies you fight as you do like various feats, like cutting down a whole lot of people in the standoffs that Ghost of Tsushima had, which was a really cool carry through. When you come across a group of enemies, you can start a standoff. And it's the whole like you stand there with your katana ready, they walk up, and the first one to flinch, you like try to like get them, when they go in for the attack and you cut them down. But then as you progress through the game, you can increase that streak. And so that like builds terror, and they'll like start to freak out and run away. If you
win the intimidation check.
Pretty much, you build like basically the ghost meter as
ghostometer.
as you make kills without taking damage. And once you hit a certain point, you can activate it, and you basically do like this Onryo howl where you like. The game turns like black and white. It's really cool.
Oh,
like
that's
this
cool.
Wind effect like blows through. You stand there with your almost knocked
Easy,
stiff off my wall. You like do an intimidating stance with your sword, and the guys like all drop their swords and back off and everything, and you just run up to one and just like stab him as he's on the ground trying to crawl away.
Oh,
it always like
God.
knocks one guy to his feet and he's like, "No, please, God!" You just like run up and just stab him.
Oh my
it's
God.
stone cold. It's awesome.
Stone cold.
And that's what's so great about this game, because Atsu is just so stone cold through it, and the whole mechanics of the combat and everything like that is built around maintaining that aura, and it's awesome.
Awesome.
So,
Rad.
But then the game, like story-wise, then not starting the main breakdown of that, so you're okay spoiler-wise. But then basically for the rest of the game, you're going to different sections of the map, hunting down the various members of the Yotei 6. The game begins, you're hunting down the very first one, like starts with you confronting the snake, who was like, he had this really cool, like crazy mask and everything like that. But he's kind of like the drunk outlaw part of this. So you meet him at a tavern and wind up just like burning it down while he's in it and different stuff like that and fighting him. It was really cool.
Oh, he looks snaky.
But the thing about it too is that each of the Yotei 6 have some identifying factor. Like he has like a mask and everything. The snake does. There's another one, the Oni, who has like a broken mask. The Kitsune, so it's a fox mask. The snake and the dragon and the spider. So the spider's mask has like 8 eyes on it and everything. That's really cool. And as you go through and defeat the various members of the Yotei 6, spoilers, you like gain their item as a cosmetic choice.
The Kitsune mask is dope.
It's very
That's
cool.
the coolest outfit.
It is very cool. I loved, and of course there are cosmetic things you can get through it by like going to various vendors. No microtransactions, but like you go to by earning in-game currency, and you can go and like buy stuff. You can get various dyes and different stuff for your masks or your outfits in general. So I had one that was like a black Kitsune mask with all black kind of fur, everything. It was so good.
Dope.
Very good. The outfits and armor sets in Ghost of Yotei are fantastic. And so, yes, that's kind of it. You progress along through the various areas, hunting down the various different members of the Yotei 6 until your final confrontation with Lord Saito. Outside of that, throughout the various areas, there are a lot of different side activities that you can do. There are side quests with various characters. There are usually like some weapon quests that you can go on, quests to unlock various armor sets, bounties that you can go through because unlike in Ghost of Tsushima, where it was Jin Sakai was of noble birth and a samurai trying to reclaim his land and all of that stuff, Atsu is very much like a mercenary figure. So she takes jobs and from
right on the honor side of the spectrum,
which is a fun departure from the first game, because the very first game was Jin's struggle with like, do I abandon these principles of honor that I've been taught my whole life as a samurai to do what is necessary to defend my homeland?
the thing that keeps getting you killed in battle.
Exactly.
Maybe some strategy.
Maybe you should stop running up to a gate and being like, "Fight me, Mongol horde," and instead maybe try to sneak in and take out a few guys first.
Maybe set some stuff on
something like
fire.
that.
Maybe we think
a
it through
distraction,
a
a
little more.
diversion, something like that before just going in and being like, "Fight me with honor, every single person in this thing." Anyway, a tale for another time. But that's basically the gist of Ghost of Tsushima.
Got it.
And so Ghost of Yotei, you don't have that indiscretion or like that worry. You just kind of are like, yeah, sure. If a job needs done, I'm going to do it. If another Ronin comes in my way, also searching for a bounty, I'll fight them too. And and that's how a lot of this stuff happens. If I see a member of the Yotei 6 or their men, I'm going to start a fight with them and cut them down.
Does Atsu have any friends? Like, are there any notable NPCs that you would say are with her in cutscenes? Like, does she interact with
At
other
the
people
beginning,
on a friendly basis?
No. As the game progresses, yes,
Are any of them
do
hot?
start. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd say there's some of that.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
What are the romance options like?
We'll get to that as well. But so there are a ton of different side activities. Like you actually, a really fun thing, and I talked about this in the first impressions episode, like you have the painting scenes where you get to use the touchpad to paint these various landscapes or animals and stuff like that Atsu encounters. You get to learn how to play your...
Shamisen?
Yes, shamisen, thank you.
You're lucky I'm a weeb.
I knew what it was. It just like as soon as I got to talking about it, you just completely
The Japanese banjo.
I mean, it doesn't sound that far off, honestly. But so yeah, there'll be these different places where you can like learn various new songs for the shamisen, play the shamisen. You can use the shamisen to like find areas of interest nearby. Like you'll unlock a song that shows you where various hot springs are, or
cool.
fox dens, which you know, like in Ghost of Tsushima, you can interact with foxes to get various charms and different stuff like that you can use to give you different buffs and different things like that. And then there's also wolf dens that you can interact with, because Atsu also has this like wolf that starts interacting with her at various parts. And throughout the game, you can develop that bond with the wolf. And so there's by doing these wolf den quests or through other leveling up and different like that through the game. And so there's all these different things that you can do with that to find these collectibles, or just like, yes, standard collectibles and various other things. And so outside of all of that, the core gameplay then of doing this exploration and all that is obviously going to be fighting. And there's a lot of fighting to be had. And the nice thing with this game too, that's another departure from Ghost of Tsushima, is that it does give you a little bit more variety in what weapons you can use. Ghost of Tsushima, you still used your katana, and then you unlocked different stances and forms of the single katana combat that you could use that would have various buffs against your enemies. Like if they were using a spear, using a shield, something like that. And you could switch to those in combat to, you know, make it easier to beat those people. Do I need to turn off the fan, or are you getting a little chilly?
Oh no, I was stifling a big yawn.
Okay, sorry. I just was making sure it wasn't cold because I have the window open, the fan on, and all that stuff.
Don't worry, I'm all bundled up.
Sorry. Anyway, and so, you know, you would change those different stances in combat to be able to take down enemies easier and stuff like that. In Ghost of Yotei, there's a bigger emphasis on different weapons entirely. Katana is still like the end all be all. This is going to do well against everything. And if somebody is coming at you with a single katana, it's a good idea to fight them with your single katana as well. But you do unlock eventually, sorry, some spoilers if you want some total, like, don't know what goes on. You will eventually unlock a dual katana, which is honestly my favorite way to fight. You will then get also a spear, a yari, and then it's the scythe on a chain with a weight.
Kunai with chain.
Crap. That's gonna bug me.
I don't know.
It's like Kutsamagi. Kutsamagi. Nope, that is definitely not a thing.
Kusarigama?
Yes, that's it.
I would never remember that word.
I was not anywhere close. But yes, sorry, what is that?
Hang on. Kusarigama. Kusarigama. Yeah, Kusarigama is the
but it's got a basically a short scythe blade with a weighted handle, and you can throw it to hook enemies and different stuff like that.
See.
Super cool. And then you also will unlock a longsword, the Odachi, basically big two-handed katana. It's awesome. But then along with that, you also will get a bunch of ranged weapons like a normal bow, a long bow, smoke bombs, and then either some other scorch bombs and different stuff like that do some explosions and everything like that. Eventually we'll also get a pistol and a rifle and a musket. So it's pretty cool because you can the pistol is like a quick draw weapon you can use in combat. You can also use the musket, but it takes a little bit longer to aim and reload and stuff like that. But you can just kind of do a quick draw and take somebody out real fast.
Awesome.
If they're especially being annoying. So it really felt like that scene in Indiana Jones where the guy with the scimitar is swinging it around and he just goes, no, don't have time for this. Pew. So it was really fun to use all that stuff.
With the muskets, do you have to like reload them with powder?
Yeah, it like
I
takes
love
time
that.
to have a little bit of the
You gotta,
reload
like,
animation, tamp it in, and all of that
that's
stuff.
cool.
Because it is early muskets, early pistols, and different stuff like that. You will eventually meet various NPCs throughout the game and vendors who will be able to upgrade your armor sets, upgrade your bow, upgrade your muskets, upgrade your pistols, and all of that stuff. And so there's a lot of stuff like that too that you can see and do throughout the. Oh goodness,
Ladies, please.
goodness.
Goodness gracious.
That you can see and do throughout the world too. Then you can meet them. They'll send you on various quests and different stuff like that. Talking about all of these weapons and all this different stuff does bring up probably my biggest con of the game, because while the combat is very fun and it's super cool once you get into the like flow of it and everything like that, it is pretty complex. And honestly, I've talked about this a couple episodes ago. Playing on a controller felt like a detriment.
Not enough like customization.
Not enough customization, because there are a lot of different options. Because similar to the stances from Ghost of Tsushima, the different weapons were more effective against different enemy types. And you would often be attacked by a group of enemies wielding different weapons and different like big, like bruise, like
Tanks.
the tanky guys and stuff like that. And so you need to have all these different weapons that would be better against them. And so it kind of feels like the game wants you to be able to change in between those things pretty often and quickly. But it is the kind of thing where it's like, to change your main weapon, you have to hold on the PS5 R2, then hit either one of the, X, circle, square, or triangle. If you wanted to do your quick draw, I believe that is R1, because you also have, in addition to your your ranged weapons, you have quick draw stuff that is like a powder that becomes like a poison powder at one point.
You are making the symbol for pocket sand.
It is pocket sand, basically. It is definitely pocket sand. A straight up smoke bomb, kunai, the like throwing knives, and then and I think that might be it. But still, you have to change to that. You activate that by hitting R1, but then you have to change which one you're to switch in between those. You have to hold R1 and then use the D-pad to do your ranged equipment. That's all with L2. And then same thing though, you have to hold L2 and then change D-pad to change those weapons that you're using, or L1 to change various things like that too.
It doesn't sound any better than the first time you described it.
There's
sounds just
bunch
dreadful.
of stuff happening, and if it's expecting you, like the game, like it feels, to switch in between these different weapon types and range types and stuff like that, it's a lot of just like hitting the wrong button, jumping around. And for me, at least, it was a really big deal. And so more often than not, I would just be like, I don't care. I'm just going to stick with the dual katana, or I'm going to stick with the single katana.
Man, whatever happened to the quick wheel?
Yeah.
Quick wheel was a
honestly,
good idea,
a radial
guys.
window would have been a lot easier. And so it just kind of slowed down that flow of combat that once you got into felt really good. But then if you're kind of having to slow yourself down to change weapons, or you do the wrong one and then you're stuck with that one, and you have to wait through your like fight animations or your swinging animations to then have the right time to change back to the weapon that you really meant, it just kind of like slows things down and kind of disrupted that flow.
Jerrett, even Monster Hunter Wilds has radial menus.
Really? See, they need to take something and go back to the old drawing board and learn something from good old Monster
video
Hunter
games
Wild.
don't need to progress. Sometimes the radial wheel is the good choice.
It really is. And they were quasi radial wheels and how they displayed on the screen and everything like that, but still it was just
like the quick ability to just toggle
the quick
through
adjustment it was rough.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean, like playing keyboard and mouse would have been much better, especially with like my mouse that has customizable, and most gaming mice that have customizable buttons on the side and extra things. That would have been so much easier. Or just being able to hit like 1 2 3 4 5 6,
yeah.
Something like that would have been so much easier. So while I applaud them for doing all of this and really upping the amount of combat and choices that you can have from Ghost of Tsushima, it almost seemed a little too much. Visually, graphically, the game is beautiful. And again, the music also just is incredible.
Same composer?
I believe different, actually, but
Different
now I
composer.
am
I'll look it up.
blanking. I should have looked that up and had that ready and handy. But all of that just really stuns. So I think if you were a fan of the original game of Ghost of Tsushima, it does have a lot of like tonal differences. And like I said, it is focused a lot more on just like hardcore revenge, and other than this internal struggle of honor that Jin went up against. And I think both stories are really, really great. So I think if you liked Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yotei is going to be an obvious like, oh yeah, I'm going to pick this up and play this. If you haven't played Ghost of Tsushima, great news. They take place 200 years or so apart from each other, so you can play it without having any knowledge of the first game at all.
And also the order doesn't matter.
And the order doesn't matter. And it's not, they're not like hinged upon the other for you to be able to enjoy the gameplay better or worse.
Yotei is Toma Ottawa, and then Ghost of Tsushima was Shigeru Umebayashi. So they are different people.
There you go.
I feel like that's kind of rare.
It is, honestly, but both delivered fantastic on the soundtrack. So go check those out for sure. I do kind of feel like this is the point where I want to talk about the story, because the story is, while I said I enjoyed both of the stories, and Jin and Atsu are both fantastic characters, I do have some. That's where a little bit of my complaints with the game do kind of pop up. So I do want to take a little bit of time to talk about the story beats a bit here. So, therefore, spoilers, they be starting. So give you a second to
I'm ready.
pause,
I'm never
stop.
going to play this game.
All right, here we go. That was more for the audience's benefit than your own. I know you're okay with the spoilers.
I suffer from what's called main character syndrome. Everything is about me.
Everything is about me. Everyone must cater to me.
Yes, indeed. Listen, that's just called being American on Maine. We suck.
We suck. Anywho, so talking about the story of Ghost of Yotei. So it goes through and like it begins. Like I said, the game is very much focused on Atsu's revenge. She has been, and it hammers it in, that she has been spending the last 16 years honing her fighting ability, her body, mind, soul, and spirit based around getting revenge and killing the Yotei 6. She even like is really cool in like just a baller ass move. She has their names written on a sash, and after she kills each one, she strikes out the name with their blood from her sword. It's fucking cool.
Cool. That's cool.
It's just kind of this thing where like in the character differences, I guess, between Jin and Atsu, but like Jin had that focus of like having the of freeing his people and freeing his land. Granted, he did have kind of a broader responsibility in that he was the lord of this land in this area. So like getting the Mongols out, driving them away is like has a bit more of a national emergency kind of feel to it. But his internal struggle was that of like, do I abandon these principles of honor? But he never like wavered in that mission of, I am going to free Japan from this Mongol invasion.
He was going to accomplish that goal no matter what. It was just about the path.
And that's how this game started and presented Atsu's journey. And it really does feel, and a lot of people, like I saw Cody saying it in the Discord and everything, talking about how it like has a very like Kill Bill feel to it and everything, with how it approaches the duels, her hunting them down, and just its overall feel. But kind of halfway through the game, she kind of starts losing that drive and that like fiery passion that's like, this is what I am and who I am to my core. And it did it in a way that doesn't really feel natural. And she makes some mistakes when dealing with the Yotei 6 that are kind of like, what are you doing here?
Huh.
For example,
I was about to say, go on. Give me an example.
No, it's totally vague, and you're gonna have to play it to find out. For example, when the first member of the Yotei 6 after the snake, because the game does give you the option, it is not a hard linear choice of like, you have to go after this one next. You have the option of going after the Oni, the Kitsune, or the Saito's sons, the dragon and spider. You can choose either ones to go after. I just go after the Oni because he's like the big tanky guy, has a big Odachi, the like two-handed longsword. Cool. And I was like, cool, I want to go fight this dude. And so I go after him. When in the course of that, you are able to infiltrate his castle because you do set yourself up as a bounty hunter who returned someone that he put a bounty on. And so you are able to like meet him, talk to him, interact with him, and get a layout for his castle. For
You do a Star Wars.
Exactly.
You
For
do a
his
Star Wars
initial, exactly. So that you can go and break in later, and then do the deed of taking him out. But while you're on this infiltration inside his castle, he's kind of showing you off his throne room and his trophy room and everything. And you see the scabbard of your father's sword on his display.
Damn.
And he's telling you, well, you did bring in this guy that I've been looking for. So, I will give you your handsome reward. And Atsu goes, no, if you give me that is my payment. And like this dude, it's been 16 years, but like this is a very like formative kind of like event thing. And also the whole thing of you being, for the time, a woman warrior or woman Ronin was also already turning heads. Yeah. And you kind of already also at this point have a reputation as being the Onryo. You've already killed the snake at this point, and the Oni knows this.
Oh, okay.
And so, sorry, I didn't make that clear. Like, it's known among the Yotei 6 after you kill one.
So they know she's coming.
They know she's coming.
Okay.
So here is a woman bounty hunter bringing this person that you're looking for to your castle.
Could be anybody.
And then specifically says, I'll pass on the gold if you give me my father's scabbard.
Oh my God.
I believe it's called a Yara, is what they're called. And it's just kind of like, what are you doing?
She's going to kill him anyways. Why wouldn't she just come back and get it?
Exactly. Why reveal yourself in that way?
That's crazy.
And sure enough, yeah, she tries to break in later and the Oni is like prepared and waiting for her. And he's like, no shit, I knew who you were.
That's really stupid.
And so it's kind of like, what are you doing? It's a really odd choice there. And it just kind of like felt not like a whoopsie daisy. It just kind of felt like a weird character choice that just hard was against what Atsu's core.
Yeah,
like maybe
that's
it startled her that she saw her father's, this belonging of her father's and decided that like, oh wow, and just threw her off and she's like, I need this back. But still,
you
16 years
that,
up to this
16 years of discipline.
You would be more controlled in this moment. So it was just kind of like a weird thing. And again, it didn't necessarily benefit the story at all that the Oni suddenly like, yeah, I knew that was you. It would have been even better for like the duel to happen and her about to kill him and he'd be like, oh shit, it's you. And like that would have been, kind of thing like that.
That's weird.
So it's just kind of weird.
Strange choice.
Later on, and this is very much in game. Or no, this is actually then halfway through the game, ish about. When you're hunting down the Kitsune. Along your journey in hunting down the Kitsune, this woman comes along and who begins to kind of like befriend you and you become a close to and everything like that because she is also trying to like help out these farmers in the Kitsune's region and you're wanting to help that out too because the Kitsune is, being oppressive and just an iron-fisted rule as are all the members of the Yotei 6 on the people that they are over. And so you're helping this woman out, you're helping free these farms, and then throughout this you realize and this woman reveals to you that the Kitsune that you're hunting right now is not the Kitsune who helped Lord Saito kill the Yotei 6. That Kitsune is actually her.
Huh.
Now, again, considering what we know about Atsu and her like drive and quest for revenge, and now granted, in the course of the game's story, you interacting with this woman takes place over a few days. You helping her free these farms takes place over a few days. So it's not like you're meeting her and finding this out in a few hours. But I mean, in game time, yes, you are. And so everything, though, that you have known about Atsu and her drive and her mission for absolute, like, revenge. It's honestly, and she even says early in the game, she wants to kill the Yotei 6 and then pretty much die. Because that's, like, what her life is built up to and only it is about. And so she meets this woman. This woman tells her that she was the Kitsune. And then through flashbacks, you do see how the Kitsune lets Atsu go during the reveal and when Lord Saito is killing her mother and stuff like that and kind of like gives her a chance to escape. But you're also kind of like in this flashback and in this sequence, it's just the Kitsune and Saito, her mother, and you. it would almost have been better for the Kitsune to like try to free Saito and like free your mother, and then like maybe either get injured, presumably killed, and then leave Saito's gang. But like she, in this whole thing, Birdie, Anyway, instead of it being like that, we're like, and then that's why she leaves Saito. She still just basically lets you get away. You're then recaptured again later that night anyway, stabbed against a tree and then set on fire, kind of the thing. And so it's kind of like, okay, yeah, you tried to help, but you could have done more? Question mark? Until then being like, okay, now that's where I draw the line and leave. But anyway, you've kind of like obviously formed this quasi bond with this woman. And then she tells you this. And Atsu does, like, you do have a fight and a duel with her, but eventually you do kind of just allow her to help you in taking down Saito, and you don't kill her.
Interesting.
And that kind of felt like an interesting story choice. Not that I'm like, yes, blood, there must be blood, but that's what you've been led with Atsu's story to believe up to this point. And so it feels weird that she is suddenly like, nah, it's cool. Like, you did still not save my parents. You did still let my brother die, too.
Also, you, like, high-key were part of that, right?
And you were very much high-key a part of this.
Even though you weren't champing at the bit to kill children, I mean, that's a pretty low bar.
Exactly. Another side spoiler that you find out throughout this whole time is that your brother actually didn't die.
I didn't say it out loud, but I was guessing immediately that he was not actually dead.
And he is now actually pretty high up in another samurai clan, the Matsumai. And so they are also who are kind of in control, the ruling samurai clan in control of this northern island of Japan, who are warring and being invaded by the Yotei 6 and Lord Saito. And so he is now, up in those ranks and everything. You meet him throughout one of your stories and you're like reunited and you're like, oh shit, because he was going through it as a different name. You were obviously not being well known. They're like, oh, I'm Atsu, and all this stuff. But you connect the dots and you're like, oh shit, it's my bro. And then through things you learn that he has a daughter now and things like that. And so, that you get to know. So you're kind of like, oh shit, maybe I do have more to live for than just like straight up revenge with and dying thereafter. And so that kind of like adds some stuff into it too. But then through the later parts of the story, Atsu and then the former Kitsune and Jubei, her brother, all meet up and have to do this thing. And Atsu has to reveal to him, hey, this is actually the Kitsune. And Jubei's like pissed and wants to kill her. Understandably. Because he got like shot and thrown off a hill or mountain. Like, it's not like he got, he got away, just hid in the bush and was fine. Like, he got fucked up on this day too. And so he kind of wants to fight her and is like, no, this is a bridge too far. And Atsu is like defending her being a part of it. And like, no, we need her to like take down Saito. And it's like, do we? You really don't. You've taken down the snake. You've taken down the Oni. And depending how you play, you could have taken down everybody else too before the Kitsune. It's kind of like, you really don't. So it kind of was just a weird thing that she is now so hardcore. Like, no, we have to let her help. We have to be a part. Well, granted, forgiveness is a wonderful thing. And I'm glad that like people can find that in their hearts. But still, it just tonally felt off a little bit.
So is she hot?
Yes.
Okay, maybe that's why.
I am blanking on her name. Do you see it on the? It's like man, I should have been better about writing down the names.
Dude, I do this with every single review we've ever done. Do you remember me trying to do Silk Song where I couldn't fucking remember the name of anything?
What is her name?
I'm gonna guess her. She is very cute. So actually, she looks young in this.
She's
in my mind. I was imagining an older woman, just because I thought like if she's retired,
is her name Oyuki. And so Atsu's like defending Oyuki, who appears to be more like middle age at this time.
Well, I mean, maybe it's just romance. What can you do?
And so that just kind of felt odd. Cut to now, another part of the story. And again, these are like overall, I'm not saying it like ruins the story. I'm not saying it's like it's a bad game because of these. I normally don't really have many story complaints. And these just kind of like stood out as just coming across as odd. And so anyway, as the game progresses, you do become more like start to waver a little bit in your resolve on how far you go, and because you are starting to learn, like you have Jubei now, you have his daughter, and all of this. Kiku is her name, and so she becomes, you do a couple missions with her and stuff like that and kind of start building a bond around her. But it does eventually get to the point where it is time to take on Lord Saito. And, he's a crafty son of a bitch. He is able to like launch an invasion at the same time of your castle of Castle Mitsumai and start attacking basically your home base, Jubei's home base, and all this stuff. In that fight, you are able to capture / kill one of Saito's sons, the spider, and you kill his brother, the dragon. And through this, the spider, eventually you can tell, is not the prized son of Saito.
He's the lesser one.
Exactly. So Saito is kind of like, oh, fuck you, you let your brother get killed. And so this kind of causes the spider to go to Atsu, because in the siege of the castle, Oyuki, Jubei, and Kiku are all captured and taken by Lord Saito. So Atsu goes to the spider to be like, take me to where your father's keeping them. So again, she kind of like breaks her thing with this guy to be like, I just need to get my family, which makes more sense.
In this case, I feel like this one makes sense because
she's trying to rescue her family.
There's a premise that she might actually need him.
Yes.
If you're not familiar with a layout and you need to do like an extraction mission, you probably need a guy.
So winds up, she lets him live. In the grand scheme of
things,
after all of that stuff. So again, that one's more understandable. You're kind of like, okay, so it's kind of like getting some loopholes here in your full.
Is the spider
full plan? No.
Oh, never mind. Bad job, Atsu.
It doesn't work on that case. It doesn't fly. But anyway, it all leads up to this final confrontation with Lord Saito. But you are able to free Oyuki. You are able to free Jubei. But Saito escapes with Kiku.
Ooh,
and you figure out, he probably took her back to where this all began, our homestead. And so you go with Jubei and Oyuki.
Dramatic bitches, am I right?
He really is. You all go back to your homestead for the final confrontation. When it gets there, but again, sorry, I'm missing some context that makes this more important. When the siege on Castle Mitsumai begins, Jubei is like pleading with you, don't go after the spider and the dragon who are right there in front of you, like standing you down for a duel. He's like, please help me go rescue Kiku, your niece.
Oh,
and you say no. And then they all wind up getting captured. So now here's Saito chilling with, and so Jubei is rightfully really pissed. And you have to like have a very big like come together moment and like reconciliation to
Jubei's thinking like, man, I wish this sister really had been dead.
It's like, if you would have been dead, this wouldn't have been happening. My daughter would be safe.
Yep.
We wouldn't be in this predicament, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, you all like get over that to go rescue Kiku, go back to your home. And sure enough, there's Saito there with Kiku. You get there and Saito's basically like, I'll let her go, Kiku, if you fight me and it's Atsu and we could just do this and break it up and go. And you're basically like, fuck yeah, let's go. Jubei is then like, no, he's let her go. Let's go. Let's just go. And you're like, nah, I'm going to fight. And so they all leave, but then Jubei kind of acts butthurt about that you don't leave and finish off Saito. And even though he just got his daughter back and
also,
everything's good.
That dude's going to come back again.
And
in this case, I think Atsu's totally right. Because Lord's, what's he going to do?
He's going to let us go and
regular
then
job after
kill me
this?
and then come back after y'all. This is not going to be the last time you're going to see this guy.
Lifelong gang leaders typically don't have a sudden second career
right?
later
Just decide to retire. Yeah. You know what I mean? Especially one who's just lost everything. And so
both sons. Well, one the
good son. The good son. And so all of this happens. Saito does this, and then he just kind of he gives this. Jubei is pissed. They all leave. Again, with Kiku, though, you do your fight. As you said, yes, Jubei comes back again to help protect Atsu when she's being almost beaten. Like when you get to like the halfway point in your fight with Saito. Jubei comes back, helps you, saves your life from being struck down by Saito, but then is just pretty much turned around by Saito and killed.
Damn, that's a cold lunch.
And it's just kind of like, he didn't need to die. You could have just defeated Saito and then gone back and had happy ever after with Kiku, Jubei, and Oyuki. But no, he just kind of like haphazardly comes back, gets killed off in like 2 seconds.
Yeah,
and
is
then
he even like? Is it established that he is as good of a fighter as Atsu?
Yeah, like he's a high-ranking samurai. Like he is
gotcha.
like a good swordsman at this point.
Okay,
and
I
everything.
wasn't
He
sure
is
if like he had
formidable.
just been chilling for the 16 years.
And like and Saito is like a big
He's
fighter.
really good.
He's really
Okay.
good. And so it's this kind of thing where it's like he didn't need to die. Like Atsu had already like had her lessons. She'd had all this loss, and it didn't like add anything extra other than just kind of like, well, that was dumb to the like final resolution, because it did kind of also feel like after you hunted down the Yotei 6, you just got to Saito, and then you had this fight. You have a couple rounds with him. He kills Jubei. You obviously get mad, kill him, and then you're like, oh, I will raise Kiku as my own Jubei, and then
now
he dies.
Kiku's got 2 moms.
Exactly.
Yay!
And so, like, we love that.
Well, we love that.
But at the same time, it just kind of felt like, It just kind of felt like a lot of story moments that came through that were supposed to be like big, impactful moments also kind of felt like it went against the grain of the story that we've been led up to that point. And not in like a way that made sense that there were these flips and flops. So that was a lot of explanation to get around to that, just saying that it was a lot and didn't seem to make sense story-wise. But that is to say, though, the game itself is still really good. I know that made it seem like I had a lot of, like, I was just bitching about a lot of story moments there. But for the most part, the game is solid. The gameplay is solid. The combat is solid, notwithstanding the like, control complaints that I had and different stuff like that. And it is a great follow-up to Ghost of Tsushima. So this is not saying don't go play it. Very much go play it. It's a great game. Do I think Ghost of Tsushima is better, is Ghost of Yotei better than Ghost of Tsushima? Combat-wise, yes. It does so much more and adds so much more in terms of exploration, combat, and just things to do in the world, and including like random encounters with enemies. I think it does a lot better of like balancing that throughout the game. In Ghost of Tsushima, it seemed like you were running against somebody like every 2 seconds, and they'd be like, standoff? And it'd be like, no. And you like had to deal with this. This felt a lot more balanced out and everything. And so I liked that aspect of Ghost of Yotei. Story, I think Ghost of Tsushima still had a greater story. Gotcha. The characters of Jin and Atsu together, both very strong, and I honestly like, in holding them in comparison, I kind of like them both about the same. They're both really cool characters, have like really strong drives and like good like motivations for why they're doing what they're doing. But I think story-wise, Tsushima still takes it. Combat and mechanics-wise, I think is Ghost of Yotei comes ahead.
Interesting. Well, it's always good when the 2 games that come back to back like that, even though it's not a direct sequel, it's nice that they excel at different things. Yeah. Because I feel like if one of them was just clearly the better game, it would be like, you really probably shouldn't play Ghost of Yotei. But now it's like, well, no, you really could play both games and get just a slightly different experience with each of them.
Exactly. So that's kind of my overall with it. Like I said, these story beats that I had and issues with the story doesn't necessarily ruin the experience, and it doesn't make me say, don't go play it. It's a great time. Sucker Punch did an exceptional job on it. And like I said, all of it comes together. Like I even played it, like they do a really good job of like really having the immersion, because like the HUD comes up when you do the like swipe up to activate the wind and everything to show you the direction for missions and stuff or objectives. Once you do that, like, the HUD pops up for a little bit, or when you're in combat, it pops up. But after that, if you're just riding around on your horse, it's just gone.
You just
have the full screen effect, and it looks so good.
That's sick.
So
Man, that's the kind of thing that I really wish Breath of the Wild, not to do a game from 10 years ago.
But I mean, we could.
I wish that's something that Breath of the Wild had, like an adaptive HUD like that. That's great.
So it was really nice. So, aesthetically and all of that stuff, it really excels. Just had a couple stumbles in the story, I felt like, and a little bit of like too clunky in the weapon switching controls and a little bit stuff like that.
Oh, and the weird progression on like armor upgrades, which you mentioned during the first impressions.
Oh, what was that?
Like it was way too easy to upgrade.
Oh, yes. The you do get resources and different stuff like that to be able to upgrade your armor or like to act as currency. Like you collect flowers throughout the game that you use to buy like dyes and different stuff, like different cosmetics and different stuff like that. But yeah. There was a very early game charm that you could get that would increase the amount of materials and resources you would get from either enemies or things that you would pick up in the environment and stuff like that. But it like skyrocketed
made
the
it
amount
way
that you
too
got,
easy.
and it made it so easy.
Yeah.
You could level up your armor and weapons and stuff like that, like basically as soon as you got
That's
them.
what Cody was saying. He was saying like as
Yeah.
soon as I got a new thing, it was already
It was
max
already
leveled.
just leveled up and everything like that, which was annoying. It was a double-edged sword. It was annoying because it was felt like, okay, well, I just like this customization and upgradability just seems pointless because it's just so fast. Like you might as well just given it to me already leveled up. But every time you do like level up an armor set or something, it changes in appearance, and there are some sick
And they
ones.
get
There are
sick.
some really, really good ones. So it's cool you get them so fast, but also I kind of wish there had been a little bit more buildup. So because I did eventually wind up turning that charm off and switching it out to get another one.
Just 'cause you really didn't
Just
need
because
it?
I didn't need it.
Yeah.
And you still got stuff fast enough to upgrade it. So it was just a weird like balancing of the resources. I was kind of like that seems unnecessary too.
Well,
But again, not a game breaking thing. Just
That's a
kind of like
pretty
a
minor
thing.
thing.
It could have been just fine tuned a little bit better, I think.
yeah,
So,
understandable.
but overall, fantastic game, great game. Definitely give it a shot. But once I finished it, I was kind of like, okay, this didn't come anywhere close to touching Clair Obscur as like game of the year for last year.
definitely
Just
not.
because
Come on.
Come on. It just didn't.
I really wonder if, so they've done the mainland, they've been to Hokkaido. I wonder if they'll do a third game that takes place on the southern island.
That would be really cool.
That would be really cool because it's it's totally different down there.
And if they keep jumping time too, that would be interesting to see like how far into the future they might go.
I mean, technically, I forget exactly where it is, but one of the southern islands of Japan actually has a legit rainforest. Like that's the environment that's down
That
there.
would be awesome.
So I feel like that would be really
That'd
cool.
be really cool.
And then, like, what if instead of a horse, you got to ride a dolphin? That would be rad.
Sure, why not? Just
But it would potentially introduce like boat mechanics.
Yeah.
Because if there's a bunch of tiny islands down there,
like coastals
That
and
could
stuff
be
like that, some
fun.
ports and various things like that. That would be really
Yeah,
cool.
that'd be dope.
So, who knows if they will do a third one. I think this game did get received well enough that to warrant a third one. And I think the series in and of
feel like
itself
I
is
would
popular enough.
I would be, yeah. I mean, on the IP alone, I would be pretty surprised if they dropped it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they're going to do that.
No, I don't think they will either. And so far, it has been long enough that they have already done an update with New Game Plus. I believe they are going to bring back the Legends multiplayer mode that they brought up in Tsushima to Yotei, so that'll be exciting whenever that drops. I was planning on trying to do a full like platinum and try to get the platinum in my first run, but by the time I did do enough just like side exploration, and by the time I did decide to finish up the game and finish it, I was like, okay, I'm ready to play something else.
I'm ready to be done.
Again, not because it's a bad game, just I was ready to be done.
Yeah,
I'd
just
spent enough
eventually
time
you're
in it.
done.
Exactly. So, but no, great game, great soundtrack, great visuals, great combat. Give Ghost of Yotei a try if you want. And if you already have, well, we would love to hear about it, and we would love to hear your thoughts on the game. So send us an email at teamchatpodcast@gmail.com, or comment below wherever you're listening to or watching this episode. Join our Discord and talk about it with us there. We would love to have you. But with that, I think that concludes this episode of Team Chat Podcast. Until next time, everybody, I'm one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, joined to my right by Rachel Mogan.
Adios.
We'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.